Final segment of ATL Day Ones with Jarvis and Tenitra. We want to just say thank you for rocking with us throughout the entire show. We really do appreciate that. And I got one more request for all the people on YouTube and the people that are listening on the podcast. Hey, y'all, we're almost at like 1,500 subscribers. Woo-hoo. And we are pushing to try to get to 2,000 followers. That was a good year. Subscribers, excuse me. We're trying to push to 2,000 subscribers. So we just need you to continue to like and subscribe. Now, and if you already subscribed, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. I'm thanking you in advance. We are thanking you in advance right here on ATL Day Ones. But this is For the Culture. It is the intersection between sports, entertainment, and the culture. And sometimes, T, it's just whatever the hell we want to talk about this, because that's just how we get down. All right, now, on the docket for today, T, like we know that there are times when people tweet out certain things and they're just, it's just all wrong. And you don't even have to read the story in order to know that. You just look at the headline, you're like, oh my God. So got the unfortunate news yesterday of Marion Barber III being found dead in this apartment in Frisco, Texas. And you start seeing some of the people start tweeting out certain things, RIP and all that stuff. And I remember Marion, like he was probably one of my favorite running backs back in the day in the early 2000s. He was just a guy that just was
a bruiser.
Just a bruiser. And like so much so his name was Marion the Barbarian Barber. So, he was a guy that just really did his thing, right? So I came across this story and it was from ABC News and they put in all caps, just in. Marion Barber III, the former Dallas Cowboy running back who scored plenty of touchdowns without recording a 1,000-yard season, has died. The team said Wednesday. He was 38. And I know people probably saying like, oh, okay, it's probably a factual statement, right? But y'all remember that dude, Adam Schefter? When Dwayne Haskins passed away, talking about how he floundered around and all that stuff. Oh, yeah, he's dead. You see how that just sounds like whack to me? Like that just sounds so whack to you. It sounds whack to me. And I think that a lot of these, these outlets just get reckless sometimes, I feel, when it comes to these players passing away. And I think it's part of a bigger issue, which is how these players are viewed. And, and I think, and I'm pretty sure, I don't want to speak for you, but I think you probably maybe feel the same way.
Agreed. There are so many different levels and layers, like you said, to why someone thought it was appropriate, because someone wrote that headline and then someone approved that headline.
There you go.
So
two strikes already.
Exactly. So that's what is disconcerting. And then somebody tweeted out. So 3 people and nobody noticed the insensitivity of that.
Yeah.
So my question to them would be, if your 38-year-old brother or cousin or neighbor passed away, would you say something like, yeah, my brother who, couldn't pass his bar, he died. Would you be okay with somebody saying that? Or your neighbor, hey, my neighbor who could never get that manager's position after he was with that company for 14 years, oh, he died.
Yeah.
Would you be okay with that if your brother, if somebody said, hey, you remember his brother who, he didn't finish college, he could never finish anything that he tried to do, everything that he tried just failed, oh, he died. That's how that comes across.
Exactly.
It is so insensitive because you are leaning into magnifying someone's quote unquote failure because he was still an NFL player who played for a number of years on a prominent team with a prominent franchise, right? But you're minimizing and focusing on his failure, especially when, okay, Jarvis, let's be real about this thing.
Yeah.
When you see NFL player dies at 38, the first thing you think of is that it's going to be bad. And when I say bad, meaning the mental issues, the CTE issues that have come out that we have seen over and over again be behind the cause of death for these players who are dying young, which means that that's going to be even more of a painful piece for his family to have to deal with, right?
Yep.
If that is indeed the reason that we lost him in the sports world so soon. Nobody thought about all the ramifications of you reminding them of, I'm going to put it in quotes, a failure. Miss me with it. Miss me.
Yeah. Yeah, and to be honest with you, like I'm just so tired of having this conversation because when you think about it, it's like, we feel obligated, right? Because that's like we keep it real on the show. We talking about another brother who left
Yeah.
us a little bit too early, right? You know what I mean? Like and since he stopped playing, that seems like when all the people who care, the majority of the people who care about him as a person and who he is, like who cared about who he was as a
Yeah.
player while he was playing, but
Mhm.
as soon as he finished playing or retired or couldn't do it anymore, like they just like, oh, okay, we won't give a damn about you, we'll move on to the next player.
Yeah.
Who's the next guy y'all drafting? Dallas Cowboys. Yeah, that's who we care about now.
Mhm.
And to be honest with you, that's a big thing mentally to deal with, right? Because let's kind of take a peek into the mind of an athlete, right? You
Mhm.
gotta think about it. Like people have been fawning all over you since the age of 6, 7. Some of these guys, like, when you talking about playing, coming from park ball on up,
Mhm.
you've had fans, you had people who just want to know any and everything of what you got going on. And then you bring on the social media phase too, right? And everybody wants to see, always want to see what's going on with such and such. And then you get into the NFL, you finally get into the NFL, you start making some generational changing type money, and
Yeah.
then the fandom grows even bigger. And then you get to the apex of your career. Okay, cool. Everything's all good. And then next thing you
Mhm.
know, I can't run the football like I used to. I can't break tackles like I used to. And then next thing you know, you get cut. You go to another team. He went to the Chicago Bears and was there for a year. It gets cut and he just disappears.
You're done.
And nobody talks about you anymore. No beat writers
Mhm.
are giving you a call to see how you're doing or writing a story on you to see what you are doing post career. So,
Mhm.
and Barber had some issues. He had to be
Yeah.
evaluated a couple of times after for mental evaluate. He had to be mentally
Mhm.
evaluated. So, those are the type of things that are going on with these guys. Like he's not. It's not a case where it's an anomaly, right? Like this has been happening consistently, and I think that a guy like Clarence Hill,
Mhm.
Clarence, the Orlando Ledbetter's homeboy,
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
those guys part of the Omega Psi Phi fraternity and everything. That you know how they get down. They cool as all get out. He wrote a story. The headline, it was just the epitome of what it should be. He was like,
Mhm.
"Who was Marion Barber,
Yes.
who's
Yes.
now dead at 38? Who
Yes.
was he?" And
Yes.
then he went into who he was, how he came up, like what he did in Minnesota, where he's from, and all. I'm like, oh snap! I didn't know he was from such and such. Oh, I didn't know this was his
Yeah.
dad. Like
Right.
he following his dad's footsteps, going to the University of Minnesota. Minnesota. So
Exactly.
all of
Family
those
members who
things,
are still in the league and
yes. Oh my
or who are just
God!
out of the league who are impacted. Yes,
Like that's how you do a story.
that's how
That's how
you,
you do a story. Not
because
doggone talking
sometimes
about somebody's downfalls in a freaking headline, man. That's
headline,
oh
give
my
me a
God. Like
break. If you wanted to embed that way down at the bottom of the story because you just absolutely felt like you had to mention it and you felt like that was a part of the narrative, that is fine, but that should never be the lead narrative to the point where I feel like I want to text Clarence right now, my frat brother, and just be
thank
like,
you, brother.
appreciate you because
Yes.
at least you had the humanity and the decency to follow up what ABC News, a national outlet, could not get. And this is something to where, as frustrated as we are in this moment, Jarvis and I also realize that we desire to, at the same token, still hold folks accountable when they don't do the right thing. So as much as we tired of talking about this, we're going to keep talking about it because apparently the message isn't resonating
Yeah.
on certain
Hmm.
levels, and you just have to hope that one of these days we don't have to have that conversation. But you know what? To leave on a positive note, a conversation that we love to have and we hope that we can keep having is a convo about Coco Golf. That is
Yes,
one
sir.
bad 18-year-old. The number 18
Hmm.
has punched her ticket to the French Open. She is doing amazing things at Roland Garros, punched her ticket to the final. First 18-year-old in 21 years to do it. And she's not just doing it, Jarvis, but she's doing it big. Another straight sets win, has not dropped a set so far. So we are rooting for our Atlanta area native to do big things. And we're going to talk about tomorrow all kinds of big things that we hope are going to be popping from this Atlanta sports scene. But in the meantime, always stop by, hang out with us first. And then your second hangout, make sure it's A to Z with Mark Zeno. So, Jarvis and I appreciate you as always for coming through. Come through tomorrow too.
Y'all come back now, you hear?